Oh, yes. Excellent. Hello, hello, hello. Perfect. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is just gonna be hopefully 30 minutes. Okay, I'm used to teaching an hour class. Breaking this down into 30 minutes is gonna be a challenge, so bear with me. Just disclaimer, if you've got any injuries or health concerns, take it easy. Try the easiest variation first. If something doesn't feel right, then obviously don't do it. And yeah, just follow along. Let's see what we can do. So I put this together, just this little order, because essentially I'm putting this together. It was a Joga class, which is yoga specifically for athletes, yoga for tight bodies. Okay, and typically people avoid yoga because they're like, oh, I can't touch my toes. Oh, I don't like the woo-woo stuff. But in reality, so many people and so many athletes would benefit so much from a practice like this. So basically what a woman named Jenna Webb did was she took traditional yoga and the biomechanics of sport and exercise, and she put them together into Joga, so yoga for jocks. Okay? So we're coming at this from a much different angle than traditional yoga, but you get all the benefits of it. Okay, so the mindfulness, the breath work, the ability to coordinate your upper and lower body, the ability to coordinate your core. Key piece that I love, that I got the biggest benefit from, was when I was younger, I used to do yoga. I've been doing yoga for probably almost 20 years now. It's an old lady. And I would do yoga thinking it would help me, thank you for all the love, I would do yoga thinking it would help me get rid of the tightness in my body and it would help me prevent injuries. But I was still getting injured and I was still tight and I couldn't figure it out. So when I found Joga, when I realized what I was missing, there's a whack load of bees here, so if I freak out, nobody panic. What I realized I was missing was the stability at the joints. Okay, so we're gonna kind of I'm gonna focus this on curlers, but literally this is gonna be beneficial for everyone, whether you're a curler or not. I always joke that my regular clients, my non-curlers, I'm like secretly training them for curling. But in reality, if you move better and feel better, then no matter what sport you're gonna do, that's gonna make you feel better and be able to actually accomplish what you're doing. So just before we actually get into it, I am putting together, so I have a Joga regen sequence, a recovery sequence. It's almost 50 minutes long, which for some people is fine. Once in a while, and almost an hour commitment is pretty good, but I find that a lot of people just need a quick 20-minute routine to kind of get either a strength session, but more recovery based, or a stretch session, maybe more recovery based. So what I'm putting together is 2 curling specific Joga classes that you can take, and I'll record those and I'll send them out for sale, obviously, but just let it, like, a reasonable price, of course, but just letting you know that as you're going through this, if you're like, ooh, this would be a beneficial piece of my training program or my recovery program, keep that in mind and stay tuned. The best place to make sure you don't miss out on that is being a member of my newsletter. Okay, so link in bio will take you to the newsletter. If you really can't figure it out, send me your name and your email and I'll do that. Okay, so got some homemade kombucha. Anybody else like kombucha? My jam. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so we're gonna do just a couple of things. I wanna showcase the potential for strength in this, and then also a couple of stretches. Here's my hope, that we can save this as an IGTV and have it on my grid so that you can watch it later. So hopefully those that had said they wanted to do it later will be able to do that. Okay, so if you're joining me now, again, just take breaks and breathers and take it easy if you have any issues or concerns. Okay, this is not a one-on-one class, which I do as well. So we're gonna start, and it's gonna be a little bit of monkey see, monkey do. So we're gonna start lying on our backs, okay? And we're gonna bend our knees so our feet are flat on the ground, okay? We're gonna take our right hand on our belly and our left hand on our chest, and then relax your elbows. Close your eyes, have your eyes open, whatever feels right for you. But the idea is that we now have this tactile feedback on our belly and our chest. Okay, so when I breathe, those areas might move. So the first thing I want you to do is just lie here and notice while you're breathing. We're gonna lie on our back, knees bent, feet flat on the ground, right hand belly, left hand chest, elbows relaxed. okay? So all you're gonna do is pay attention to your breath. Does one or both of your hands rise on the inhale and one or both of your hands fall on the exhale? That's all we're noticing. We're not trying to change anything. You're just bringing yourself into the space. And I always, always, always point out that this little rectangle, if you're using a yoga mat, is your space dedicated to your best recovery. Okay? So if you were taking a class, what I encourage people to think is that this is your own little rectangle of space, and all you have to worry about is what is happening on that mat. Who gives a rat's poop about what's happening beside you? Okay? This is your practice and your time to recover. So we're gonna start with a breathing exercise, and I start every class with a breathing exercise. Super, super beneficial for balancing the right and left side of your brain and bringing you in tune with your body, giving you some control, and then of course, being able to influence that cardiorespiratory system, okay? So you're gonna take, we're gonna start with a breath in through your nose so that your right hand rises. Then you're actually gonna open your mouth and make a big sound as you exhale, like you're fogging up a mirror. Okay, so do one more like that. In through the nose, into the belly. And a big exhale. Okay, now breathing just into your belly for a count of 1. So your right hand rises 2 and 3. And then you're gonna breathe out for 3. That right hand falls 2 and 1. All right, we're gonna do that again, breathing just into your belly for 1. Push the belly into your hand, 2, 3, and then out for 3, 2, and 1. Keep the belly button in. Now we want that left hand to rise because we're going to breathe just into our chest. So breathing into the front ribs for 1, 2, so that the left hand rises 3, and then out for 3, 2, 1. Just make sure that the belly button didn't move. Last time into your chest, breathing in for 1, 2, and see if your side ribs can expand. 3, and then out for 3, 2, 1. Hold at the bottom. We're gonna do what's called a recovery breath. That's the one in through your nose into your belly. And then we relax the jaw, go. Okay, when you're empty of air, we're gonna start to combine the 2 breaths now. So starting in the belly for a count of 1, breathing in 2, 3, separating into your chest, 1, 2, 3, and then breathing out your nose for a count of 5, 4, 3, bring the ribs in, 2, bring the belly button in, 1, empty of air. We're gonna reverse that, starting in the chest, inhaling for 1, 2, 3, into the belly for 1, 2, 3, and then out for 5, 4, 3, 2, everything in nice and tight, 1, holding at the bottom. Okay, it feels uncomfortable, we're not breathing, we've held our breath, we're empty of air. Then in through the nose, into the belly, and out through the mouth, big sigh. And then what I want you to do from that position, hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a little squeeze. I call this self-love. And then you're gonna take your right hand over your head, roll over onto your right side, and then use your bicep as a pillow and relax, just hanging out in this spot. So what I like to do before every single one of my mindset calls or a session with a client is I want you to identify an emotion that you're feeling, which might be very hard. So finish the sentence, I am feeling. Okay, still on your side. And then I want you to identify an intent. What is one thing that you want to get out of this next 20 minutes or so? Okay. What is one thing you want to focus on? Okay, what is one thing you want to work on in yourself? Okay, a lot of people, it's focusing on the breath and the moment and trying new things. Okay, trying new things was on your list, you already did that. Okay, now I want you to push yourselves up into a tabletop position. We're going to warm up the spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Okay? So we're going to start in a tabletop. Knees underneath your hips, your shoulders over your wrists, and your feet hip distance apart. Really spread those fingers. Okay, so in terms of upper body stability, so strength and control, we want to make sure that we're not hanging out in our shoulder joints. So I want you to press through your hands, and then think if I had a tail, I'm reaching that tail long behind me, and the crown of my head's going to go forward. Big mistake with a lot of people and push-ups and planks is they do this with their chin. They look forward with their entire head. Look at how bent my spine is. I want you to pretend there's a tennis ball in here and hold that tennis ball in tight. This is the top of my head, it's reaching forward. Okay? So we're gonna start keeping that tennis ball in. We're gonna flip the toes and send a breath into the chest as we turn your sit bones up to the ceiling and push through the hands to reach your chest forward. So I'm dropping my belly down and getting a little stretch to the front side of my body. So our tail is tucked. We're pressing down through the hands and the feet. We're gonna breathe in and flip our feet. Turn our tailbone up to the ceiling and reach our chest forward. So imagine you still have that tennis ball in. Tuck the chin. Exhale, we're pointing the toes. Tuck the tail under, bring the ribs in, press to the hands. Now relax the head down towards the ground. Okay, push down through your toes. Tuck the tail a little more. Keep the chin in tight, relax the head, relax the jaw. And I want you to breathe in right to where a bra strap might be. So right into the mid-back. And then I want you to use your ab muscles, tighten in your core and push your belly button into your spine so the back side of your body lifts up. Okay, breathing in, breathing out, and then coming into a neutral position. Okay, so this neutral position, tucking the toes under. Now, something I like to pay attention to stabilize the spine is actually imagining I have a belt buckle on. Okay, so I don't want to have this like low back arch, and I don't want to have my ribs popping up. I'm going to take this belt buckle, I'm going to pull it up. Then I want to take my bottom ribs and bring them down. You'll feel tight in this area. Okay, from here, keeping that belt buckle up and the ribs down, press through the hands and lift the knees up off the ground for a couple of inches. Okay, holding this position. Can I get my shins to be parallel to the ground? So I'm getting a nice stretch in my toes, strengthen my shoulders, strengthen my core. And then I'm going to press through my hands and push my hips back. So bend more into your toes, knees, ankles, and hips. This is called a crouching downward facing dog. My feet are pressing back, my hands are pressing forward, and my sit bones are reaching to the sky. Get your ears above your armpits and look gently between your thumbs. Now we're gonna move with the breath and the core. So inhale, press through the feet, bring yourself forward to hovering tabletop. Exhale, press through your hands, crouching down dog. Now do one more, inhale, slide forward, and exhale, slide back. Hold here, take a breath in, exhale, out your mouth, go. Now slowly straightening your legs, allowing your heels to come towards the ground. Now what we don't want is this mid-back arch and this upper body rounding. So micro bend the knees, turn the sit bones to the ceiling. Belt buckle in, ribs down, get the shoulders away from your ears. Again, my feet are pressing back, my hands are pressing forward. Okay? We're gonna inhale and walk our feet up towards our hands, bending our knees and bringing our big toes together. We're gonna come up halfway. This is a flow. So lift the body weight up and press back with your hands on your thighs. I'm looking for a nice flat back. I'm gonna exhale and bend my knees a lot so my belly comes to my thighs and touch the ground. And then I'm gonna press down through my feet. Inhale and reach my arms up. Breathing in, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. So I'm shifting the weight forward in the front of my feet, pressing back with my hands and reaching the crown of the head forward. So I'm looking for my back to be parallel to the ground. Put a little bend in the knees and see if that helps get you a nice stretch in your hamstrings. So what we're doing in this position is putting our body weight forward so our quads work. And when the quads feel strong, it helps the backs of the hamstrings relax a bit. Now, shift the weight into your heels and wiggle your toes. Bend your knees and drop your hips. And roll your shoulders up and back as you reach down. We're trying to get our fingertips to touch the ground. Now, keeping that nice flat back, step back into a high plank. All right, from here, push through the hands, lift the hips. Lower down for a push-up, like you're going underneath a fence, like a dive bomber. Keep your toes tucked and press through the hands to lift the chest. Big breath into the chest. Exhale, put the ribs down, push yourself back to a high plank. Bend your knees, press yourself back into a downward facing dog. Take a breath in, and I want you to do a recovery breath. Big sigh, exhale. Good. Bend your knees, walk yourself to the top of your mat. Squeeze the legs together. We're gonna do all that one more time. Link, this is not the time, my friend. Can you go over here, baby? Over there. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, press to the ground, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, put your hands on your thighs, trying to lengthen the crown of your head forward. Shift your weight into your heels. Bend your knees and drop your hips. Reach down, step back into a high plank. Lift your hips. Now you're going to lower down through that push-up again. So go underneath the fence and inhale into an upward facing dog. Upward facing dog. I want you to keep your toes tucked. Okay, press down through your feet, clench your butt. And then again, making sure we're not sagging in the shoulders. So press through the floor with the hands. Keep the tennis ball under your chin. We're going to start in a tabletop position. Okay, again, coming to that hovering tabletop. So we talked about belt buckle up, ribs down, press through the hands and the feet, lift the knees. Bend more into your toes, knees, ankles, and hips, and then slowly straighten your legs. So downward facing dog, and then bend your knees and walk your feet up together. Okay, up halfway, inhale. Exhale, bend and fold, bring your belly to your thighs, and then inhale, reach your arms up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take your arms into your armpits and spread your hands nice and wide. No floppy fingers, nice and strong like you're Kobe Bryant trying to hold a ball. Okay, hold those hands nice and wide. And then you're gonna send the weight back into your heels and drop your hips, okay? So this is that hips back position for curlers. Hips back, reach back with the fingertips, reach up to the crown of the head, okay? Once you put your weight into your right foot and then press down through your left toes. Lift up the left foot, and then we're gonna press this left heel back behind you and tilt. So I wanna be a straight line from my left heel to the top of my head. This might be as far as you can go. If you can raise the left heel more, your upper body has to go with it. So what I don't wanna see is this. Okay, your upper body separate from your lower body, keeping everything nice and tight. Okay, so hands are strong, foot is strong. I want you to take a breath in, and then exhale, bring your knees together and lift the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Okay, exhale, inhale, press that left heel back behind you. Exhale, bring the knees together, lift the crown of the head up to the ceiling. Inhale, one more time, press that left heel back. Exhale, knees come together, and then inhale and hold. Okay, curlers need to have really strong hips. I'm going to challenge you in this airplane position. Can you keep your upper body, your shoulders and your hips square to each other? And open the hips a little bit to the left. And then bring them back square to the ground and over rotate to the right. You should feel this right glute working. One more time, inhale, open to the left. Exhale, over to the right. Back to the middle. And then bring your feet together, take a breath in and reach your arms up. Perfect. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Fingertips to your or thumbs to your armpits. Spread your hands nice and wide. Okay? Send your hips back. No floppy hands. Press through the right toes. Lift your right foot up. Now when you lift that right foot up, when we flex that toe, I want you to feel this muscle, that shin muscle, working really, really hard. Okay? Now, inhale, press that right heel back. So again, keeping everything a straight line from the right heel to the top of the head. Exhale, bend your knees, lift the top of the head. Inhale, press the right heel back. Exhale, knees squeeze together. You might notice your inner thighs working. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, bring the legs together, lift the top of the head. Inhale and hold. Now this is that challenge. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. Okay, that challenge was, can you open the right hip to the right? Can you bring it back to the middle? And over rotate to the left. Hopefully, we're either standing or you've folded. Okay, and then we're gonna meet in halfway. Shift the weight in your heels, reach down. This is the delivery position, right? I'm about to go throw a rock. Okay, hips are working, core is tight, shoulders are rolled up, down and back, chin is tucked in. Now press your hands on the ground and step back into a high plank. Okay, what we're gonna do in high plank, you can stay here. We're gonna work on our core. We're gonna squeeze our legs together and squeeze our bum, and then keep the ball underneath the chin as the crown of the head reaches forward. Very, very important. We're gonna come to the outside edge of your right foot and stack your feet. Press down for the right hand and bow and arrow the left arm up. But let's just say you're here, you're like, this doesn't feel right. Come back to high plank. Master the high plank first. Okay, if you're in side plank, again, I want you to squeeze your legs together, whichever plank you're in. Squeeze your butt. Belt buckle pulls up, ribs presses down, right hand pushes into the ground, and that left hand is reaching as high as you can. One more breath in. Now I want you to look down with your eyes first. Bring your left hand to your hip and push yourself back into a high plank. Okay, what we're gonna do, it's a little bit badass, okay? If you want, flat hands for your push-ups is perfectly fine. But I want you to try fist push-ups. We're gonna work on the strength of the wrist here. So I want you to wrap your thumb around your hands, and we're gonna put the first 2 knuckles on the ground, like you're gonna punch something, okay? So, if that doesn't feel right at any point, feel free to put your hands flat. Okay, you wanna keep nice, strong wrists. We're gonna start up high. Now, something that people struggle with is they drop the chest and their neck comes forward. So I want you to allow that happen, and then inhale and lift. Exhale and drop the chest. Inhale and lift. So notice that I'm not bending my elbows. I'm working the muscles around my shoulder blades. So exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. The muscles right in here coordinating with my core to keep my upper body nice and strong. Okay, do one more like that. Clench your butt, super strong butt. Exhale, inhale. Now, when we do our push-ups in Joga, we typically do them from the ground with the knees up. I want you to bend your elbows as much as you feel comfortable, but squeeze your elbows into your side and then press away the floor, okay? You get to decide how down you go, how far down you go, but only by knowing how high up, if you're gonna be able to get back up. So if I can get down to here, but I have to do the worm to come up, I went down too far. Okay, so you pick, we're gonna do 5. Exhales to lower, inhale, punch the floor away. Exhales to bend the elbow, inhale to straighten the elbows. Okay, exhale to bend, inhale to straighten. That's 3, 2 more. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Fantastic. If you're in fists, put the knees down. Watch the fresh blood and oxygen come back into those hands. Okay, so watch that blood come back into those hands. Okay, we're gonna go through something called a core flow. So you're in your high plank, you're gonna press through your hands to lift your hips, and then you're gonna lower down to a push-up. And inhale into an upward facing dog. Back to high plank, keep those ribs down. Bend your knees, downward facing dog. We recover with a big breath in through the nose and a big breath out the mouth. Good. From here, bend the knees, walk yourself to the top of your mat, squeeze the legs together, shift the weight forward, inhale, come up halfway, exhale, bend and fold, and then we're gonna press through the ground and inhale, reach your arms up. So what we're gonna do a couple of lower body stretches, and then we're gonna switch to the left side plank, okay? So I want you to step back with your left foot, okay? And we're gonna do a split squat first, okay? So I want you to bend into both knees. So if you have any knee pain, maybe skip this one for now, but give it a try. I've got a couple adjustments for you, okay? Your feet need to be hip distance apart. Now, I don't want a low back arch. I want you to tuck your tail under. This butt cheek is turned on. You're gonna feel a nice stretch on the left side. So this is how strengthening exercises can help improve your mobility, okay? We want this knee, this hip bone, this rib, and this ear in line. Reach your arms up. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, press through the right toes to lift the heel. Okay, 3 times. I want you to straighten the legs and squeeze your butt. Okay, then bend your knees. Keep that right heel up, keep the tail tucked. Inhale, straighten the legs. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend and hold. You can do it. Keep the ribs down. Now push that right heel down. Bring the left knee down onto the ground. Okay, so if you need to, roll the mat up so you get a little knee pad. Pad underneath there if you've got sensitive knees. Again, we're gonna tuck the tail, stack the knee, the hip, the ribs, and the ear. And then I'm gonna take my right hand to the outside of that right leg. My right leg's gonna press out, my right hand's gonna pull in. Tucked, so you feel this stretch to the front side of this body, and we're getting there from a position of strength. So the options to stay here, if you're like, yep, this is a good stretch, 5 out of 10, all good. If you'd like, raise your left hand up, turn just your left armpit to the side, and then reach it over to the right. So if you're like, nope, can't handle it, this hurts my back, don't like it, just come back to this stretch. Now in Joga, we like to use the breath to find extra space. So take a big breath into the side ribs, and then find stability through the feet. Okay, one more breath in, and one more breath out. Perfect. Now square your shoulders over that front knee. We're gonna bring ourselves back up into a high plank. Okay, lift the hips, lower through push-up. Inhale into an upward facing dog. Exhale, high plank. If you'd like, bonus push-up. Bend your knees in downward facing dog. Big breath in, big breath out. Bend your knees, walk yourself to the top of your mat. So squeeze those legs. Shift the weight forward, coming up halfway. Nice and long spine. Exhale, bend and fold. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Good. Sending the weight back into your heels. So I want you to step back with your right foot this time. Opposite side. Feet are going to be hip distance apart. Now, big issue people have is if you find your hip bones, when we do this split squat, this hip bone drops down. Okay, if you've been paying attention to some of my stuff, I talk about how this hip bone dropping down can make you miss the broom. Okay, it can make you lack the ability to create power. So exercises like the split squat are excellent for working on keeping this hip up. And you know what it is? It's the stabilizers on the opposite glute that need to work. So feet are going to stay hip distance apart, and you're going to bend into both knees. What I'm looking for again, getting rid of that low back arch, tuck the tail under. You should feel this butt cheek working. Okay? Now, knee, hip, ribs, ears. Raise the hands up. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, press to the left toe. Okay? From here, press to the ground. Squeeze your butt cheeks at the top. 3 times. Exhale, bend your knees. Keep the ribs down. Inhale, straighten your knees. Exhale, bend the knees. Keep the belt buckle up. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend and hold. See if you can sit a little lower. Keep the heel a little higher. And then we're going to put that left heel down. Ha! Lincoln! What a good spot you're in, my friend. This is a great video. Hi, Corona. Okay. Hey, that back knee is down. I'm going to come into our hip flexor on the left. Okay, so I'm going to start knee, hip, ribs, ear. Tuck my tail under so I get this butt cheek working, and I'm going to feel that nice stretch down the front side of the body. So what's happening with these pieces, when we're squeezing and strengthening the back side, it opens the front side because the joint feels strong. And a lot of time, the thing that I don't like about traditional yoga is they forget that piece. Typically, obviously not all the time, they typically forget that piece, okay? And then we're just hanging out in the... Here we go. Okay, we typically forget about it. We think, I need to get in this position, but we don't know how to own it. Okay, so when we think about the opposite side needing to be strong, it helps us own the position. It's a lot safer way to gain mobility and flexibility. Okay, so I'm going to take my left hand and pull in, left knee and press out, tuck the tail, and if you're like, yep, 5 out of a 10 stretch, stop here. If you want, we're going to raise the right arm up, open the chest to the right, and then reach that left arm up and over so I get a nice stretch down the whole right side. Okay, big breath into the side ribs, finding extra space. Exhale, strong feet, strong right glute. One more breath in. And then square yourself up. We're going to put that hand around the front foot and step back into a high plank. Okay? So we're going to do side plank on the left. If, again, you've got shoulder issues or you're worried, I want you to stay with just the high plank. Okay? So, high plank. Squeeze the legs together, squeeze the bum, keep the chin tucked. Come to the outside edge of your left foot and stack your feet. Press down through the left hand. Bow and arrow the right arm up towards the ceiling. So my hand, my shoulder, and my hand are stacked. My hips are stacked. And the crown of... Okay? Squeezing the legs together, squeezing the bum. Belt buckle up, ribs down, whichever version we're in. One more breath in. And then take the right hand down by your hip, push yourself back to high plank, press through the hands and lift your hips. And then lower down through push-up. Inhale, upward facing dog, keep the chin in. Exhale, high plank, bend your knees, downward facing dog. Take a breath in, Take a breath out. Good. Coming forward, we're coming to a wide leg child's pose. Okay? So to get to wide leg child's pose, you're gonna bring your knees wide and your feet together, and then your hips to your heels. Okay, I want you to bring your forehead onto 1 or 2 stacked fists so that your spine is in neutral. Your breath, and try to lengthen the exhale. Okay, telling the nervous system it's time to rest and recover. You can actually turn your head left and right, massage out that pressure point on the forehead. And we're going to press ourselves up into a table and then roll onto your back. Okay, so we're going to just come to the final bit. So I always start and end my classes with, okay, so starting and end the classes with some breathing, with some mindfulness, with some focus. Okay, so you're gonna lie on your back. Feet are gonna go wider than mat distance. Hands are gonna go wide. And then just relax yourself down onto the ground. Okay, so when we think about how to get the most focus, what happens? Sometimes we get in the hack and we totally lose focus because our mind is thinking about so many different things. The brain gets in the way of our muscle memory. And a perfect way to kind of get out of our own head, okay, is to try to find stillness in body first. Okay, I'm guilty, I'm a fidgeter, I get nervous, I move, I run, I play with my hair. But if we can try to still the body, find the stillness in the body. So that could be the space, you're lying on your back just breathing right now, that could be the space that you find between your inhale and the beginning of the next exhale. It could be the space between the bottom of the exhale and the beginning of the next inhale. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to be fully still, we just need to find stillness. Okay, so stillness in the mind happens when we can find stillness in the body. Okay, just one of the ways to find stillness. What that allows us to do is become really focused in the present moment. Typically those thoughts that are running through our heads during a sport or activity, those are things, the past and the future versus the present moment. We need to focus on the present moment, right? To be able to focus on just one thing at a time. So what I want you to do is just following your breathing right now, just like we did at the beginning. Okay, I just want you to feel where in your body the breath goes in, and feel where in the body your body relaxes. To really heighten that concentration, you can feel where the air enters the body right at the tip of the nose, and go even further. What's the temperature of the air as it comes in through the nose? Okay, what's the temperature of the air as it leaves the body? Okay, so just really heightening that concentration on the breath, whether it's the way it feels in the body, where it feels in the nose, what parts of your body's moving. Okay, just paying attention to things like, is my breath fast, silent, long? And then we're just gonna let your mind for a moment do whatever the heck it wants. Let your mind go. Don't let it think. If it wants to think, let it think. If it wants to do nothing, let it do nothing. And it's so interesting, as soon as we let go of any focus or force, that's when our mind is silent. Okay, so think of that during your next activity. I want you to wiggle your fingers and your toes, roll the wrists and the ankles, and turn your head left and right like you're saying no. And then reach your hands up over your head, reach your feet long, big full body stretch in, take a breath in through the nose, big exhale inside through the mouth. And then just like we started, hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze, big squeeze, love yourself. And take your right hand over your head and roll over onto your right side, just like we did at the beginning. Support the head with your bicep. Now come back. What is an emotion you're feeling right now? And did you accomplish the intent? The carryover effect is that our practice doesn't end when we leave the mat. Okay? The practice is a lifestyle. It's how we deal with everyday life. So can you carry that intention through the rest of your day? To finish, I want you to sit up. I want you to rub your hands together as fast as possible. So thinking like curling, we're trying to create some friction and some heat. Okay, some a balance between the pressure and the speed. And then take those nice warm palms right into your eyeballs, right into your eye socket, and give those puppies a massage. Hopefully you've washed your hands. Give them a massage. And then I want you to close out your practice however you like. Okay, so if you're not into yoga, then peace, you're good. If you are, namaste. Thank you for showing up. This has been great. So sorry that there were so many connection issues. Hopefully I can get this up onto IGTV. If you liked it, pay attention. I will be in the next few weeks selling my recordings of the Joga practice. Okay, Joga for curlers specifically. If you're not a curler, it's still gonna help you, promise. Okay, if you're interested, I do private classes. Much better if you've got a group of 2 or 3 or your team. Yeah, you have a fantastic freaking day. Get to go outside, be in the sunshine. I've got a call in 10 minutes, so time flies when you're having fun. Thank you for being here. Link is literally sleeping inside of his water bowl right now. Thank you, take care.